Hi there, and welcome to All Things Fixed Income. Today I'd like to talk to you about the fixed income environment, but in particular, the terminology that surrounds the fixed income environment. We know that within any profession or any specialist field, there's lots of terms that gets used that is very specialized to that particular field. Very similar to the fixed income field, but I'd like to demystify some of those terms. And let's start by fixed income, or is it fixed interest? I think, these two names have been brandished around quite a bit. What is the difference? What is fixed income or what is fixed interest? And, actually there's no difference. Those terms are interchangeable and they can be used interchangeably. Effectively, some people say if you earn, then it's income, and if you pay, then it's interest. So whether you're investing or whether you are borrowing, the terms could effectively be used interchangeably. But the main thing or the important thing is that in the fixed income environment, when you are earning income or paying interest or earning interest, it's that amount that you would receive or pay over the capital that you invested. So if you invest 1,000 Rand and you earn 100 Rand over a year, that's 10% interest. As simple as that. I think the other thing that kind of mystifies or clouds the waters is that there's a lot of talk about yield and there's a lot of talk about yield to maturity. So very simply put, if you invest in a fixed income instrument or fixed income investment, it's going to yield you a certain return. And that yield could be in the form of interest or income or in the form of regular payments. That is yield. The important thing is if that yield gets paid to you or gets earned over a specific period, it implies that there is a maturity date. And that is why we have the term yield to maturity. It's what you earn in your fixed income investment until the day that it matures. So this then begs the question, what is this term to maturity all about? And I'd like to pause there for a second and just look at the difference between term to maturity and something called duration, because we often hear these terms when it comes to fixed income investments as well. So term to maturity basically means that you start your investment at one point and it matures and ends at a particular point. That is the term to maturity. However, in fixed income investments such as bonds and the like, there's another technical term that is used, and that is called duration. It means that it gives you an indicator of the sensitivity that instrument has to the movement in interest rates. But for this purpose, let's rather focus on the term to maturity. It's how long you hold your investment for. And as the name suggests, fixed income or fixed interest, the first word fixed, it starts at a particular point and ends at a particular point. So there's a maturity involved. Often in a fixed income environment, you also often speak about things called bonds. And today is maybe not the day to speak about the technical nature of bonds, but a bond is effectively and in particular government bonds, it's something that you would invest in with the government. In other words, the government would issue a particular instrument to you. You would invest with them, and they would use that proceeds to develop the country or whatever governments need to do with their money. But effectively, a bond is an instrument whereby you would then get you would lend the money to the government. They would give you a piece of paper, effectively, that would say, I will give you back this money at the end of the term. Remember, term to maturity. But also, every so often, I'm going to pay you some interest, which is known as a coupon. The interesting thing is why it's known as a coupon is because in the old days, when you got this sheet of paper that said, or certificate that said, you've got a government bond, it was perforated on the edge, and every 6 months or once a year, you would tear off a coupon and ask the government for your 6 months interest or coupon payment. So just to demystify a little bit what happens around the workings of the bond. But hopefully in the next session, we can go and delve deeper and look into the technicalities as far as the bond is concerned. The last term that I want to talk about today is something called the repo rate, because it's so prevalent today. We all know about it when the South African Reserve Bank decides where the monetary policy is going to change, and they're going to increase the repo rate or decrease the repo rate. But effectively, it's the shortened form for the full name, which is called the repurchase rate. And that is the rate at which the South African Reserve Bank, which is our central bank, lends to the commercial banks. So that's the interest payment that they would pay, the rate that they would pay back to the Reserve Bank. Obviously, the commercial banks would then on-lend to you and me, who perhaps need a home loan or a car loan, and they would then up that little interest rate, obviously, so that they can earn their necessary fees and interest on it. So that then you and I, who would be borrowing, would then be paying a certain interest rate. But it all starts with this repo rate or repurchase rate. If that is upped or increased, you know at the end of the day you're going to be paying more interest back to the commercial bank, and vice versa. If that repo rate gets decreased, then there is leeway for those commercial banks to decrease those rates. Now, I know this may have been a bit technical, and hopefully this has demystified some of the terms, and at a future date we can go into more of the technical details surrounding fixed income. So thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.